So you're here to play some songs off your new album, Slow Attack.
Yep.
And as I said, we're delighted to have you doing quite a stripped-down version, you and a piano player to play in the church, right? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the album. I understand that you did that independently. You kind of had complete freedom to make it how you wanted and whichever way you wanted. How was that? Was that nice?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really making music for the radio or music for the charts anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of simple as that. I'm kind of making the music that I want to make, and I don't really want to be a record company telling me what to do. So, I decided to release it myself. I mean, I have a record deal in Europe, but in the UK I released it myself. So.
And I see in the album sleeve there's no lyrics.
No.
Well, lyrics are kind of. How did you use them within the album? It seems like you use them more as an instrument rather than a...
Yeah, exactly. It was it's the first record I've ever released. I've made 10 studio albums, and this is the first one that's not featured the lyrics in the artwork, and that was quite a conscious decision because I've always written quite narrative songs before.
Yeah.
They've always been kind of, about things and stories and vignettes and stuff. And I wanted to use the words more as sounds this time, and so they were kind of the lyrics were intended in a more poetic sense, towards the poetic end of the spectrum rather than the sort of journalistic end of the spectrum. If you can see, the world of writing as those two kind of like polar opposites.
So there's going to be loads of Brett Anderson hardcore fans going, "What does this mean?" Trying to find deeper meaningfuls.
Well, I was kind of. There is meaning to it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of art for me is about deepening the mystery. It's not about saying this is this is that, this is something else. That's someone else's job.
Yeah.
That's a journalist's job. That's a TV's job or whatever. It's the artist's job to do something else, to express life through different eyes. I was reading a lot of poetry when I was writing the album. I was reading a lot of Ted Hughes.
Yeah.
And I found his poetry quite inspiring. I thought it was quite an original sort of vision of the countryside that he had. People like him and Seamus Heaney as well, they kind of write about the countryside as quite a bleak, unpleasant place. And instead of the kind of cliched view of the countryside being this sort of like, John Constable sort of chocolate box vision of bucolic calm, I wanted to express the countryside as something that's full of tension and pain and hardship. And that's the kind of like imagery that I used in the record.